Pandas is the world's most popular Python library used for everything data manipulation and data analysis. So in this course, we started learning all about the Pandas data frame, which is for data manipulation. So we started with transforming data frame, where we learned all how to inspect data frames and perform fundamental manipulations such as sorting, row subsetting, and adding new columns, and many more. We are now on the second chapter, which is aggregating data frame. We'll be calculating summary statistics on data frame columns and master group summary statistics and pivot tables. So we've been doing that for the past 2 or 3 live stream. We've been on chapter 2, and that is due to the fact that it has a lot of content and a lot of knowledge when it comes to aggregating data frame or using pandas for data manipulation in general. And the good news is that this chapter actually contains 4 chapters, so we should be completing the second chapter today and moving to the next chapter on the 24 actually. So we'll be completing chapter 2 today, moving to the next chapter on the next live stream. So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Excel Island, and where the goal and the objective is to learn and master the Python 2 over the next 100 days. And today is day 23. Yes, today is day 23. I kind of get confused sometimes. I'm mixing the days, probably when I'm speaking on the camera, but I track each day attentively. Today is 23, and the goal is 100 days of Python to complete over 9 courses with at least 3 to 4 chapters on the DataCamp platform over the next 100 days. It started all the way from day one from Python basics. So I'm going to encourage you to go to the live stream tab on the channel to check from day one. You also check the comments, the pinned comments under this live stream. You're going to see the previous live stream and named uh, in an alphabetical order according to what was taught in each particular live stream. So without further ado, let's jump back to learning and welcome back to day 23. Also, all the data sets, CSV files, Python files, Jupyter Notebook files is already linked under the YouTube description, so you can download those files and practice along with me. So welcome back to the channel. Let's go and check out what we have to complete today. Mm, So we're using the DataCamp platform, as I said earlier, as you are actually familiar with. We're on data manipulation with pandas. If I go down the career track section real quick, we could just continue from there. We're on data analyst in Python, and we're at 26% uh, throughout the career track. And this fun way of learning, this live streaming or fun way of learning actually started with data analyst in SQL. Then we did data analyst in Power BI, which I have a lot of projects that I need to do also. I have a lot uh of projects planned for the channel based on SQL, Power BI, Excel, and Python. So be on the lookout for those projects. So we'll just continue from here in data analysis in Python. So if you're looking to upskill yourself in SQL and Power BI, I have quite a lot of live streams on that on the channel. Just go to the live stream tab. You're going to see SQL or Power BI or lessons and named accordingly so you can easily know what you're learning about in each video. If I go to data analysis in Python real quick here, you see we've covered introduction to Python, intermediate Python, and we did our first project, which is investigating Netflix movies. So all the code to the solution is on the live stream investigating Netflix movies, and we asked a couple of nice um, data analytical question during the analysis. So you can check those out also. We'll just continue from here and let me view the course. So you can see we've completed chapter 1, which is transforming data frames. Can catch all of that on the live stream tab. We're on chapter 2 where we've covered summary statistics, mean and median, summarizing date, efficient summaries, and so on. So just continue from here real quick. So this is the Jupyter notebook for that. I have it opened already, where we did all of that. We connected with a data frame called sales, this sales data frame, and we did quite a lot. So you can see we did quite a lot so far, like, quite a lot of coding. So you can just go and catch up on what we've done with this line of code here during the data analysis section. So I'm going to continue from here today and complete the remaining lessons, hopefully. So let's be fast and complete these remaining lessons on this live stream. So let's continue. So this is about last 2 days ago, which is aggregating data frames from chapter 12 data course, data manipulation with pandas. Here is what you covered in your last lesson, counting data. We learned out all about removing duplicates in Python. We counted in proportion, which is percentages. We also did some practical application to it. So let's come on grouped summary statistics. Let's see what we are going to learn from here.
So far, you've been calculating.
Oops, hold on, let me just change my headset, my output device to my headset. Okay, we are good to go.
So far, you've been calculating summary statistics for all rows of a dataset. But summary statistics can be useful to compare different groups. While computing summary statistics of entire columns may be useful, you can gain many insights from summaries of individual groups. For example, does one color of dog weigh more than another on average? Are female dogs taller than males? You can already answer these questions with what you've learned so far. We can subset the dogs into groups based on their color and take the mean of each. But that's a lot of work, and the duplicated code means you can easily introduce copy and paste bugs. That's where the group by method comes in. We can group by the color variable, select the weight column, and take the mean. This will give us the mean weight for each dog color. This was just one line of code compared to the 5 we had to write before to get the same results. Just like with ungrouped summary statistics, we can use the ag method to get multiple statistics. Here, we pass a list of functions into ag after grouping by color. This gives us the minimum, maximum, and sum of the different colored dogs' weights. You can also group by multiple columns and calculate summary statistics. Here, we group by color and breed, select the weight column, and take the mean. This gives us the mean weight of each breed of each color. You can also group by multiple columns and aggregate by multiple columns. Now that we've talked about grouping, it's time to practice grouped summary statistics.
Interesting. So you can actually group by multiple rows and column. So what percent of sales occurred at each store type? So I think we've answered those questions. So these questions are coming from the previous lesson that we've done. I'm not going to run this line of code over and over again. Very quick, just to refresh the kernel. I think there's a way to do all of this one at a go. But I don't want to try that on the live stream. If I make a mistake, I may have to lose. I'm going to lose all this line of code. I think this is called. I think this restart kernel. I'm not sure if it is one, so I'm going to ask probably AI what restart kernel means. If it's going to run all the line of code at once without me having to double click over and over again. So let's just continue from here. So it says, what percent of sales occurred at each store type? Why dot group by is useful? And calculate group summary statistics without it. So Walmart distinguished 3 types of stores: super centers, discount stores, and neighborhood markets, encoded in this data set as type A, B, and C. Okay, so our store type that we have here from this earlier A, B, C, let me just go to the sales, to the actual data set that we haven't filtered. Let's see. We filtered this one because we filtered it based on this line of code here. We filtered this. Okay. Okay. We filter this. So this is the actual data set, not filtered. So if I call on sales without the head record, you can see we have quite a lot of over 10,000 rows of data here. I'll just hit those head just to view a few line of code. So that's the type. So this A, B, C, this is what they actually mean by the store type, which is super centers, discount stores, and neighborhood markets. So in this exercise, you calculate the total sales made at each store type without using group by. You can then use these numbers to see what proportions of Walmart's total sales were made at each type. So we have to do it the hard way first, then we're going to do it the smart way. Sales is available and pandas is imported as PD. Okay, sales. Oh, so we're going to be using the old sales, the old record of the data without filtering. So calculate the total weekly sales over the old data sets. Subset for type A stores and calculate their total weekly sales. Okay, let's calculate total weekly sales first. I'm going to use a group by, okay, let's see, over the old data sets. Okay, over the old data sets without total weekly sales. Why do we do total there? That will definitely be dot sum. Let's see. That will be sales. Sales. Mm, total weekly sales. So if we are going to do, so I'm going to mention the column. Total weekly sales, exactly. So the column here is total, the weekly sales of the column, which you're going to see. Then dots. How do you get the total? Let's see from our previous line of code. So this is total weekly sales here, this column. So I'm going to use these counts. You're going to use the values underscore counts method. So I'm looking for what we use for total. I'm pretty sure it is sum also. Hmm. This max cumulative maximum of weekly sales. This is the cumulative sales. Okay. This is calculating minimum, maximum, median, mean. So what's the function for the total? What's the method for the total? We just call on help. If I write help here, let's see if I run the code help. So if I mention sum. So sum, okay, help on built-in function. Sum is a module built-in. Sum iterable, comma, start. Return the sum of the start value, the first zero plus the iterable numbers. When the table is empty, return the start value. This function is intended specifically for use with numeric values and may reject a non-numeric data type. So this is the function sum. So this is one of the ways to do it in Python. But I'm not sure yet. Let's just write sum here. Let's write sum there. Sum. So I'm summing the total weekly sales column. So if I let me get this line of code and use it in my Jupyter notebook here. But to do that, I want to call on the old data set here, sales.add the sales data set from the beginning without filtering. Let's call on sales. So this is the old data set without any filter. I just say sales.add, open and close the brackets. So we have it there. So if I call on equals to, let me just do it like this, calculate total weekly sales. Let me see if this is going to work. Voila, it works. So I guess right, just like you know in Power BI, Excel, or SQL, the function sum calculate total weekly sales for you. So let's continue from there. So that is total of the what? This weekly sales column. Okay, subset for type A stores, calculate total weekly sales of only type A stores. Okay, so same scenario here. We're going to mention sales, the sales data frame. Then I'm going to mention it one more time. I'm going to subset. Then I'm going to call on the weekly sales, the weekly sales column from the sales table. Let me just copy it from here. Control view equals to, we are subsetting for the row A, in the weekly sales column. Weekly sales column. We're actually looking for the sum of that column. Now let me just copy this from here. And let's try it out. We are simply subsetting for this row A in the, oh, I have to be careful now, in the type column. So this is supposed to be type column. Type column. Calculate the weekly sales for only row A is in the type column. Let's see it in action. I'm not going to use a variable for this. I think total sales for row A is over 2 million here. Yep, 2 million. So my mistake here was mentioning the weekly sales column. No, there's no value A in weekly sales. It's supposed to be in the type column. Subset for type B stores, calculate total weekly sales. So the same thing here. I'm just going to copy all of this and just paste it here. Then change the store type to B. B, 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 B. Let's do the same thing in Jupyter Notebook here. I always like copying with the comments so I can easily know what my line of code is doing. So I just get rid of this data frame here. Oops. Nope. This places. Let's see for sales of B. What am I seeing here? Okay. Oh, subset for type B store. Calculate total. Why is it giving me sales B equal to sales A? Hold up. Oh, okay, okay. My mistake was from here. It's supposed to be like this. Sales B, sales, sales of B. Let's see. That is quite different from sales of A. I think the last one is sales of C. Sales of C. So I'm just copying this part here. Similar line of code. Then we change the type to C for store C. Then I'm just going to copy. Let me just copy. Okay. Let me copy the whole of it and paste it here. And paste it here. Okay. Oh, there are no sales in store C. Really? Okay, we can't be sure yet. Let's see. Now it says get proportion for each type. The proportion which we've done in the previous live stream. These are to get the proportion. We're calculating proportion here. Get proportion of stores in each department and sort. So we're going to use the values.count to get the proportion out. Hmm. I think I calculated proportion here too. Normalize for proportion here. I'm going to normalize equals to 2. Okay, let's get the proportion first. Get the proportion for each type. Sales proportion by type. Sales A. Let's see it by type. Okay, sales A. Now be sales B. Okay. Let's copy sales B here. Let's see. Sales B. Then sales C. Let's see it in action. Divided by. Should that be divided by the total sales? Okay, let's see. That will now be divided by the total sales. Will that work? Let's see, divided by sales all. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work. That's just a straightforward arithmetic. Let's see. We got into an error. Sales A is not defined. Okay, I didn't define sales A. In this case, I didn't define them. I was just subsetting them. So let me just go back here and say this is sales A. Sales A equals to sales B. Since I'm going to be making use of them, then sales C. Let's run the code again and see. Ooh, I'm still getting an error there. Ooh, what's the issue here? What's the issue here? So to solve the issue, the best way is to I run this line of code again. Let me see. Let me see. So I have to call on sales A here. Sales A will give me this result exactly. Sales B will get me this result. Then sales C we have same result as earlier. For this error, saying sales oh, I didn't define sales all here. So my bad. So my sales all is this one here. Sales all. So if I run this line of code again, so that should give me my code. Exactly. Can I see the proportion of each sales? So I can just make it. Oh, come on, why do I keep clicking on that? Now let's run the code and see. Voila, so we have same result as expected. Let's submit if you are correct. Oh, great, we nailed it. So that was how simple, but with the group by method, we could do all of this in one single line of code. So that is the idea behind it. So we nailed it though. So that was easy. Creating the sum of a column, then grouping by each column, or preferably multiple columns. So marvelous mathematics, about 91% of sales occurred in store of type A, 9% in store of type B. You can see you have over 99% in store of type A, 9% in store of type B, and 0% and no sales record for stores of type C. So let's use goodbye to calculate same result now. Calculating with goodbye rather than doing it one at a time. Okay, calculating with goodbye. So the dot goodbye method makes life much easier. So in this exercise, you perform the same calculation as last time, except you use dot goodbye method. You also perform calculation on data grouped by two variables to see if sales differ by store type depending on if it is a holiday week or not. Sales is available and pandas is loaded as PD. Group sales by type. Let's see. So I'm going to say sales by type. So I'm going to mention the sales data frame dot group by method dot group by. So I'm going to mention by the column I want, by type, by type, yeah, by the type column. Then which summary, which numerical statistics are we using for which column containing the numerical variables do we want? We want the sales, weekly sales column, weekly underscore sales. Then what calculation do you want to calculate? The sum. We want to calculate sum for that column. Okay, so let's see it in action now. It's one single line of code. Okay, let's run this code. Voila, correct. Let's return the result of the code. You can see, I think we have same result, A, B, but is this in decimal numbers? 2.3, okay, same thing that we have here. 233, 2.33, then 231, 2.31, then C, no result for C. But is there any much a better way to look at the result? Let's continue though. Now get the proportion for each store type. Sales proportion by type equals to outgoes by type assigned to sales proportion by type mm, for each store type. Okay, let's see how can we do this now. Get proportion for each type. How do we do it with when we have many? Come on, we have many line of code here. We took the sales of A, B, and C divided by sales by all. Okay. Now we do not have that, but we have sales by type. Okay. We have sales by type here. So it says calculate the proportion of sales at each store type by dividing by the sum of sales by type. Ooh, by the sum of sales. So what are we going to have here? Let's see. Sum of sales by type. Dividing by the what? Each store type. Hmm. Then I'm going to be using, okay, hold up. So I'm going to be using this. Let's see. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me pay attention. If I use this line of code here, sales go by type, which is sales. Let me see. Let me get this line of code. Let me start from here. Let me pick this and see if it's going to make sense. Okay, let's see it in action. So I'm trying to figure that out. Ah, okay. Group by. We are grouping by type though. So I'm having an error there. Hmm. Let me run it here and see. What if I pick it all the way here? Let's see. No, no, no. So I'm guessing error. So I need to think of a way to do it in a single line of code. Hmm. Okay, let's run the code here first and see. Okay, let's get help from the error here. Sales group by type. What should be the correct result? Sales by type. Sales by type. Hold up. If I'm using a sum of the sales, oh. Hold up, let's see. Oh, okay, I've seen my mistake now. So this is going to sum the what? The total divided by the each. Oh, come on, that's like primary school mathematics. See the way I just missed that easily. So it's normal. But I think the best option is, now let's run the code. You can see we are going to get, okay, let me just run on the results here. And let's see. So we should get same thing that we got here, 0.9%. And so you can see 0.0990%, then 9%. Oh, so I didn't pay attention there. So it's okay. So I just learn how to solve that without stress now. Oops. Okay, we have one more challenge here. So group sales by type and is holiday. Take the sum of weekly sales and store as sales by type is holiday. Okay, well, from previous step, sales by type equals to sales dot group by type weekly. So this is the sum of weekly sales. So I want to go by is holiday, calculate total weekly sales. I want to go by multiple what? Multiple category. Then this is our calculation here. So go by type and is holiday. So we'll just make use of similar scenario here. Sales by color. Okay, so I'm going to add this in. Just copy this here. Go by type. Okay, let's see. Great. So let's go by type first. Go by type and also grouping by. I'm going to put this in square brackets. This want to mention multiple columns now, comma, then let me change my keywords. Then is holiday. Okay, let's see. Is holiday. Okay, so we want to go by these two columns. I'm going to mention the aggregation we want to go by. So I want to go the weekly sales, calculate total weekly sales, grouping by type and is holiday. We want to calculate the total weekly sales. So I'm going to grab this weekly sales here. Then the sum, just simple calculation there. Let's see. Voila. So let me just copy this real quick here. And let's test it out in Jupyter Notebook first. Go by type and is we want to go by type and is holiday, which is false and true. Let's see. Voila. No error returned. Let's call up on the variable sales by type. You can see type A false true, type B false true. Then we have our total sales. But I think there's a way to convert this to a number that you can easily see like this. But usually the number of decimal place is 8. So decimal place 8, decimal place 4, and so on. So we actually nailed it there. Let's see it in action. Let's run the code. Voila. We got same results. Let's submit this. Great. So great grouping. You're able to do the same calculation as in the previous exercise while writing much lesser line of code. Okay. We are learning this group calculation. Oh, sorry about this. I've been learning off live stream, doing a couple of learning just to make sure I don't miss a day. But coming on live, I have to make sure I'm calculating from the correct time, from the correct number of live streams I'm doing. So let's see multiple group summaries. You can also do here multiple group summaries. So multiple group summary. Earlier in this chapter, you saw that the dot arg okay. Rather than using this group by multiple times, this group by, if you want to calculate some mean different calculations, probably the sum, the mean, the average, we can do all of that in a single line of code also using the dot arg method. So earlier in this chapter, you saw that the dot arg method is useful to compute multiple statistics on multiple variables. So it also works with group data, numpy, which is imported as np. As many different summary statistics functions include np.mean, max, median, mean, and so on. It says sales is available as pandas is imported as pd. So import numpy, the alias np. Okay, let's import numpy as np. Import numpy as np. So for each store type, aggregate weekly sales, get mean, max, mean, and median. Ooh, that's a lot. So sales starts for each store type. So I'm going to start with, let me just copy this line of code here. This sales group by store type. just make it faster and easier. But this time around, we want to only aggregate by a single column. I'm going to get rid of this holiday and just make use of a single column here, which is type. Then we need to mention the calculation we want for that. So we want multiple calculation now. So I'm going to mention the column. So for each store type, weekly sales. So our numerical column is the weekly sales column. Weekly sales. Then, so weekly sales dot arg method. So I'm going to mention the calculation I want now. So it's going to be max, mean, and sum. Mean, okay, mean, max, mean, and median. Let's copy this and paste here. I'm going to get rid of this and here. Mean, so this should work fine. Let's see. Sales starts, arg, mean, man, let's see. Oh, mean is not defined. I have mean here as NP. Don't I have NP? NumPy. I have NumPy imported already. Let's see. What does it mean by mean is not defined? Okay. So I'm still getting the same error. So let's see what the error is all about. Get the mean, max, mean, mean, and median. Why am I having an error there? Let's see. We didn't get an error here, so we are getting an error. So let's see what the error is all about. Let's get help on this error. So the error comes from the following part of code, sales starts. So it should be NPO. I'm supposed to mention NP does mean, NP dot, oh, I'm supposed to mention the numpy as it is mentioned there. Oh, okay. Well, that's quite interesting. So I need to go and update my numpy knowledge then. So let's see it in action here. Aha. Because I've seen getting same error here. Imagine. You can see. So what's this error all about again? Let me pay attention here. I've not run this all this line of code now. No, I've not. Let me just make these comments. Let's turn this into a comment though. Comments, comments, comment. Let's see first. Okay, let me now say print. Okay, let me just clean this and say print sales start. Let's see. You can see that the results pops up. So that means this is correct. I don't know why it's not getting corrected. So let me copy all of this from here like this. So we got the result that we want. I don't know why we're not getting same results here though. Oh. Why am I getting this error? I think I've seen this error before somewhere. I didn't pay attention. I didn't solve it. Now I'm back to the error again. Why? Let me just call on my sales or start. Okay, let me call on this sales or start. And this is going to work now. Voila. So I now understand this error now. I've seen this error before. I didn't pay attention. I didn't solve it out. So my sales or start. Let me just write a line of code at the top here. You can see it's giving me that result. But that's by the way, but that error, I need to understand why I'm getting this error. So I'm going to troubleshoot it later. I think I got same error here. Also, same thing when I was using this np.median as np. If I delete this, it's going to delete that line of code for me. So I just leave it there and jump here and run my calculation. So that should solve the trick. That should be a trick there. Okay, so we are back here. So this last time says for each store type, aggregate unemployment and floor price. Get mean, max, mean, and median. Come on, again. Okay, let's say for each line of code, let's copy same thing. For each store type, aggregate unemployment and floor price. Okay, Control C. So this time around, we want to aggregate unemployment rather than weekly sales. So I need to mention so for each store type, so we're only using one variable here, but we want to use multiple variables for one numerical variable here. So we're using one categorical variables there. We want to use two numerical variables for aggregation, which is unemployment. Paste it here. So I'm going to call on my almost square brackets, for the ag. Let's see, I'm going to mention the floor price column. Let's see it in action. Voila. So get the mean, max, mean, and median. Mean, max, mean, and median as usual. Let's run this line of code one more time and see it in action. Voila. We're going to get into this here, but it is actually absolutely correct. Unemployment dot stats. You can see we got the results. So I'm just going to get rid of this. Get rid of this and write a fresh code at the top here. And just jump on this and call on this. So we got the mean, max, mean, median for unemployment, mean, max, mean, median for floor price. So based on this, so we're just doing a quick what? A quick analysis here based on the columns selected here. These are simple summary statistics. Let's run the code. Open error. Voila. Let's submit and see. Voila. So awesome aggregating. Notice that the minimum weekly sales is negative because some stores had more returns than. Let's check the minimum weekly sales is negative. Let's see. So for weekly sales here, I think the minimum is negative. Yeah, because there were more returns than sales. That's a good analysis there. So let's continue. So should we finalize this pivot table? Let's see. We've not spent up to an hour here. So let's talk about pivot tables in Python. Pivoting one or more variable, filling in missing values, and some value with pivot tables. Wow, interesting section. Let's see it in action. Let me just reload the page real quick. Okay, the page is up though. So if you find value in this learning journey with me, so do what to support the channel, like giving the video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And let me know what I should add or I should remove, or what you think about this live streaming learning journey with me. And I will see you as we continue. Okay, let's talk about pivot tables, pivoting.
Pivot tables are another way of calculating grouped summary statistics. If you've ever used a spreadsheet, chances are you've used a pivot table. Let's see how to create pivot tables in pandas. In the last lesson, we grouped the dogs by color and calculated their mean weights. We can do the same thing using the pivot_table method. The values argument is the column that you want to summarize, and the index column is the column that you want to group by. By default, pivot table takes the mean value for each group. If we want a different summary statistic, we can use the agfunc argument and pass it a function. Here, we take the median for each dog color using NumPy's median function. To get multiple summary statistics at a time, we can pass a list of functions into the agfunc argument. Here, we get the mean and median for each dog color. You also previously computed the mean weight grouped by two variables, color and breed. We can also do this using the pivot table method. To group by two variables, we can pass a second variable name into the columns argument. While the result looks a little different than what we had before, it contains the same numbers. There are NANs, or missing values, because there are no black Chihuahuas or gray Labradors in our dataset, for example. Instead of having lots of missing values in our pivot table, we can have them filled in using the fill value argument. Here, all of the NANs get filled in with zeros. If we set the margins argument to true, the last row and last column of the pivot table contain the mean of all the values in the column or row, not including the missing values that were filled in with zeros. For example, in the last row of the Labrador column, we can see that the mean weight of the Labradors is 26 kilograms. In the last column of the brown row, the mean weight of the brown dogs is 24 kilograms. The value in the bottom right, the last row and last column, is the mean weight of all the dogs in the dataset. Using margins equals true allows us to see a summary statistic for multiple levels of the dataset. The entire dataset, grouped by one variable, by another variable, and by two variables. Time to practice aggregating data using pivot tables.
Okay, so let's see how we can also create this in pivot table. We have two challenges to solve: pivoting one or more variables, filling the missing values, and some values with pivot tables. So let's see how to solve this. Finally, so pivoting one on one variable. Pivot tables are the standard way of aggregating data in spreadsheets. So in pandas, pivot tables are essential another way of performing grouped calculation. That is, the dot pivot table method is an alternative to dot group by method. In this exercise, you perform calculation using dot pivot table to replicate the calculation you performed in the last lesson using group by. Sales is available on pandas is imported as PD. So pivot for mean weekly sales for each store type. Oh, mean weekly sales. So mean sales by store type. This time I want to use the pivot method, not the group by method. So by in the previous method, we could have said dots group by. Then you mention the categorical column that you want to use, which is the type. This time I'm going to say pivots underscore table underscore table open brackets. So my value is going to be the weekly sales. Values argument is going to be equals to weekly sales. Then the index is going to be my type column, comma, index equals to type. So let's see it in action. I think I kind of prefer this pivot table type method to this main stuff that's going to be giving you error, unnecessary error over and over again. Wow, this is much more better than what we had here earlier. This is even proportion. This is what we had earlier that we did. We got one at a time. You can see sales A, sales B, sales C. With pivot table, we got it in one line of code. I love this. Let's run the code here also. You can see we have weekly sales. So get the mean median using numpy functions of weekly sales by type using pivot table. I want to get the mean and median, but this time I want to use pivot table method for this. Sales of pivot table. So I'm going to mention the values. My values column is going to be values equals to weekly sales. Then comma, my index is going to be equals to pivot for mean and median of weekly sales for store type. So it's going to be type. Then our calculation right now is going to be, so it's not going to be just weekly sales only pivot table. We want multiple calculation. We're going to use the dot arg, the arg function here, comma arg fu nc is now going to be equal to np dot mean then comma, definitely should be comma then, definitely comma, the np, since I'm mentioning dot median, since I'm mentioning more than one function, this is going to go into curly bracket also, square bracket rather. Let's see it in action here. Great, no error. Ooh, weekly sales. Okay, I'm missing an S there. The expected, right? I don't know why when I'm using the N numpy package, I always get that error. You can see it now. We have this here. So I'm going to delete, copy the all of this, delete this, and just write it again without running the code. I run this, it's going to pick it. So we have the weekly sales mean median for the weekly sales for each store. Interesting. So weekly sales, I didn't spell that completely because we have same results here. Interesting. So we know this. So get the mean of weekly sales by type and is holiday. We want to use two categorical variables now. That is my index going to be two variables, which is index is going to be definitely weekly sales, is holiday type and is holiday. But let's see how we can do the index part of the code here. Okay, let's see. Save the pivot table to make it easier. Get the mean, just the mean, only the mean. So I'm not doing much calculation here. Just the mean. Okay, sales pivot table. My values is going to be the weekly sales. Weekly sales as usual. The weekly sales column. Then comma, my index column. My index column is going to be type. Then I think if you are mentioning one or more columns, you're going to say columns. Then my next one is going to be is holiday. Copy that. Then finally, our calculation is going to be mean. Let's see. That's how our calculation is going to be. Arg function, comma, arg func equals to mean. So np dot mean. Let's see if we nailed that line of code. Ta-da. So we nailed it though. So we are quite familiar with this error. While working with, you can see, is holiday type. Is holiday is false or true, which is the column. Then the index is the type column. That's it. Then we can mention columns, I guess so. So I'm gonna copy my line of code there. Let's run the code down and just paste it here. I'll run this one more time. But also, interesting. Ooh, why am I getting an error here? And I didn't get an error in this part of my code. Sometimes that gets funny though. Let me see what the error is all about. Let me run the code again. Something gets NP is not defined. NP is already defined. Sales is available as pandas, imported as PD. So they didn't import numpy here. Is that so? Am I not supposed to use numpy? I'm supposed to use numpy though. Let's see. But I wasn't told to import numpy though. Using numpy function. So I'm supposed to import numpy there. Okay, now let's run the code again. I don't know why it is taking time to load this time around though. So it works fine, perfectly well. You can see, so let's submit the line of code. Great, so we nailed it this time around too. Now finally, if you have missing data in your code, you are definitely going to use the fill value. So filling missing values with pivot tables. So filling missing values and some values with pivot tables. So the pivot table method has several useful arguments, including fill value and margins. Values with a real value known as imputation. What to replace missing values with is a topic big enough to have its own course in dealing with this value in Python, but the simplest thing to do is to substitute a dummy value. So margin is a shortcut for when you pivoted by two variables, but also want to pivot by each of these variables separately. So it gives you the row and column totals of all the pivot table columns. So in this exercise, you practice using these arguments to up your pivot table skills, which will help you converse more efficiently. So let's do that finally. So print the main weekly sales by department and type, filling in any missing values with 0. Oh, interesting. So let's see. Oh, I don't know why my network is acting up today, which is not normal. Let me just copy the all of this real quick. It says print mean weekly sales by department and type. Mean weekly sales. Okay, let's see. So instead of mean weekly sales by what? By department and type. So it's going to be type, and this is going to be by department. Let's see. Oh, it said print mean weekly sales. Weekly sales by department and type. Let's switch it. This is going to be department. This is going to be by type. Let me get up on this error though and see what I'm missing here. Oh, I didn't import NumPy. I have to import NumPy first. Come on. You should have told me. Now let's run the code again and see. You can see the mean weekly sales. We are going to have missing values though. So to get rid of those missing values, let's see it in action first. Let me just copy this line of code here. We just make use of it. Let's see if I'm not going to go into an error if I use the print. Oh, you see. So it's still going to print it though, but let me just do something like this and say sales. Okay. Mean weekly sales. Mean week sales by APT type equals to this. Let's see. Voila. So we know, normal we know we're going to get into that error. Control C, Control V. Voila. We expect some missing values though. So departments 1, 2, 3 and type. So we know that. And let's make room for missing values. When we have a missing value, you can see our results. It's just 8 rows and 2 columns of data. So to make room for missing values, that's going to be fill value is going to be 0. So we'll come to the end of this. That's comma. Fill underscore value equals to 0. You can see that it has filled. You can see there's a missing value here. So it filled it up with 0. Let's see, you can see an NA here. Let's complete this part of the code also. Fill underscore value equals to 0. I run this code again. So we expect 0 to be below here. Oh, we didn't get 0 there though. Why? Voila, now I got it. You can see, I don't want this error here. If I run it again now, I should. You can see it has filled its missing values with 0 there. Let's submit this. So we can also sort it. So print the main weekly sales by department and type, filling any missing values with 0 and summing all the rows and columns. So finally, I think, let's see, what are we missing here? I mean, print weekly sales by department and type, filling any missing values with 0. So I'm just quickly going to do the same thing. Why not just copy it one more time? I'll just copy this to save time because we are just over an hour, just 5 minutes over 1 hour. Sales view. So print weekly sales by department and type. Mean weekly sales. So mean, fill value. Then the last part is the margins equals to 2. But I don't think we have number imported here already. Let's see. Then finally, we should have comma margins equals to ta-da. Let's see it in action. Oh, come on, what is the error again? What am I missing? I'm missing an error. Did I wrap it up in quotes? It's supposed to be just one quote though, not double quotes. Hmm, it's coming up. Ta-da. So we have it here. I see the all calculation here. So let me much more better in Jupyter Notebook so you can see it better. So I'm just going to come down here, control paste that. I'm going to call the same method. I'll just change the variable name there. So equals to, oh, I'm going to say all. Let's run that. We expect an error like that. Just going to copy this variable here. Paste it. Oh, come on. What do you mean it's not defined? Oh, I didn't copy everything finish here. Okay. Sometimes I just run into an error. I can see the error calculation here. Interesting. Let me select everything here. The line of code above. Paste it and just colon this. Ta-da! So we have our calculation with one more column for the total from here. I think we did well in this aggregation. It took a whole lot of while, but it was worth it. Great. So magnificent margin making. You are now armed with pivot table skills that can help you compute summaries at the multiple group levels in one line of code. Note this subtly in the value margins here. The columns all returns an overall mean for each department, not A plus B. It is not A plus B divided by 2. It A plus B divided by 2 dot A plus B divided by 2 would be a mean of means rather than overall mean per department. Ooh, I need to understand this overall mean by departments, this calculation here for the all calculation. Like, there's a lot of mathematics in Python. There's a lot of mathematics. Good. So I think completed, and this is the longest chapter we completed in 4 live streams. I think the content is much. You have to be patient with yourself to understand this, be able to create the examples, follow the instruction, and solve it. Well, as we are moving to chapter 3, which is slicing and indexing data frame. This is a lot of knowledge. You can see quite a lot of knowledge. So we are going to continue on day 23. You agree with me? That was a lot of learning, just understanding storming statistics in data in Python with the pandas data frame. As usual, do well to support this channel by giving the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video, in the next live stream on the channel, and go and upskill yourself in Python. Deal?